Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan and I appreciate you being here. Today I'm going to be talking about my low buy month so far for January of 2025, and then I'm going to jump into a few things that I do in my life to spend a little less, save a little more, and what I do to keep an eye on my financial health. So today is January 14th as I'm filming this, so I'm officially 2 weeks into the low buy challenge, and so far it's going really well. I've had zero spending in my personal spending and also zero in restaurants and delivery. These are the three categories that I'm focusing on for my low buy month because they're discretionary spending and it's something that I can easily cut back on. I have given myself a small budget for all three categories, but it's nice to be 2 weeks into it and know that I still have that budget remaining in case I do want to spend it. So it is going really well, but the reason I actually wanted to check in was not because of the spending or not spending that I've been doing, but because of the mindset that I've been in about it. It's been kind of challenging, not to stay quiet, not to not go anywhere, but just like the mindset and to be conscious of the thoughts that are passing through my brain. So I've noticed a lot more how often I think about spending money. Whether it's something small, I wanted to get something for my cat and I realized, oh no, I'm not supposed to be spending money. I'm trying to plan a vacation that may or may not be happening in March, and budgeting that out makes you realize, although that's something that I value and that's something that I want to spend my money on, maybe this is too much money to be spending for just a 4-day trip. So there's been a lot of thinking, there's been a lot of back and forth. The low buy month is not something that's supposed to be sustainable. It's just something that's temporary. I haven't decided if it's just a month or maybe it's going to be a full quarter. But regardless, this isn't like a permanent change to my spending, but it's really helped me be conscious in my thoughts. Instead of just being out and grabbing a coffee or being out and picking up something that I think I might need, I think for a second, can I do without it? Right now, yes, I can, because that's the challenge. And then perhaps next month or next quarter, I'll pick up those things that I've had my eyes on. What I've started doing is making a list of things that I either want or will need to buy in the near future. Some of them are really small. Things like water glasses. We broke a glass the other day, so I need to buy some new water glasses. And then some things are bigger things, like I really need to buy a new phone, which hurts the wallet so much, but is a necessary expense. So I've got a list of things that I am planning on spending on in the near to distant future, next month, couple of months. And it's nice to have a plan and nice to know where my money needs to be focused on. I can tell you, even without completing this challenge, I'm getting a lot more out of it than I thought I would, because I thought it was just going to be additional money that I'm able to send to my savings. But instead of that, well, I guess in addition to that, I'm also getting this mindset shift of just being conscious of my spending. This conscious thinking has really had my mind going. So I figured I'd share some of the things that I both consciously and subconsciously do to save a little bit of money in my everyday life. So I've broken it down into categories. The first one I'm going to start talking about is food. So food is a category that I spend a lot of money in normally. I think that's pretty common, both with groceries, eating out, whatever. Some of the things that I do to save money is I will shop at a discount grocery store. So for those of you guys in the US, or I think in the UK and definitely in Australia, I used to shop at Aldi, and that's a great discount store. They have good quality, especially when I was in Australia, their produce was great. But that doesn't exist here. So I've recently found a grocery store that is called Viva. I don't know how I've been here for so long and not realize that they have such discounted prices compared to the rest of the grocery stores around here, but I've been shopping there and I would say I've reduced my costs about 40% this month, just based on how much I'm spending each week. So using that, we'll see how we go by the end of the month, but I think I might even be able to come in under budget in that line item as well because I've discovered this, so that's really cool. Something else that I do related to my grocery shopping is I order online instead of shop in store. Before moving to Dubai, I always did my grocery shopping in store. It was part of my routine. I would go once a week. I would do my full weekly shopping, and then I'd have my groceries for the week. But I've talked about this before, and the culture is a bit different here, where it is so easy to get everything delivered. I've gotten into the habit of getting even my groceries delivered. When I first arrived, I went to this grocery store, and it was a discount grocery store as well. It was a hypermarket, which means they sell everything. And I spent so much money like buying things that I want, but don't necessarily need. I find it a lot easier to stick to a list if I'm ordering online and I'm not distracted by things that are in front of me. So even though I pay for the extra, I think 10 dirhams to get it delivered to my house, it saves me hundreds by not going in person. The next one is a little bit more specific to my own situation. I do work in a restaurant, so I am able to eat at work free of charge. It's part of my benefits package. So every day that I work, I have at least one meal that's taken care of. The next one is also related to my grocery shopping, and it's a bit boring, like literally, but I eat a lot of the same meals. So I have about 2 to 3 breakfast meals that I have just always available in my house, depending on what level of effort I want to put in the morning. But I repeat it a lot. Right now my fixation has been Greek yogurt with protein mixed in, a little bit of fruit, whatever I have on hand, and some granola. I'll eat that at home, or I'll take it to work with me, or whatever I'm doing that day. So when you're eating the same things over and over, the ingredient list is shorter because you're having the same thing every day. And then the last thing I have in my food and eating category is my coffee. I have figured out the perfect coffee for me to have at home. I have a French press with illy coffee pretty much every morning, a little bit of stevia, a little bit of oat milk, and that's how I like it. Every time I go out to a coffee shop, it's not replicated exactly the same. So I know first thing in the morning, that is the coffee that I want. I'm not tempted to go to a coffee shop because this is what's perfect for me. Yes, I do still go to coffee shops, but that is usually for like a specialty item. I'm not getting my everyday standard coffee at a coffee shop. The next category that I have is my home. I only have a couple things in here, but I think there are 2 really big ones. The first thing I've done with my home is I've created a space that I love to be in. If you're planning on saving more money, sometimes that means spending more time at home. A lot of the activities that you do at home are either free or low cost, whatever hobbies you may have, but I love the space that I've created, so I don't mind spending a lot of time at home. If you're uncomfortable in your home, you don't want to spend time there, and the more time you spend out, the more money you tend to spend. And the second thing I have in my home category is repair, don't replace. So sometimes things break. Sometimes there's a hole in a shirt or something like that. I try not to replace things if I can repair them. Not everything is repairable, but I always give it a go first. If I can't repair it myself, then I might go out and replace it. So the next category that I have written down here is my personal spending. And again, this is another big one I know for a lot of people. Things that I do is I get my books from the library. This is something that's recent because the libraries here are a funny system, but I'm actually hooked up with my sister's library card back in the States. So I'm able to get free library books on my Kindle every couple of weeks. Yes, it means I don't read the books exactly when they come out, but it means that I can get them for free and I can get them consistently, and I have literally a library at my fingertips. Other books I will trade with a friend. So if a friend tells me she just read a really good book, sometimes I will ask to borrow it and vice versa. I have a couple of friends over here that I'm trading books with. As long as you have people in your life that have similar hobbies and interests, this is something you can do with anything, not just books, but maybe video games or craft supplies or tools or so many different things. Another thing that I have done recently is shopping a friend's closet. So I have an event that's coming up at the end of the month. And I didn't have anything in my closet that I wanted to wear, so I asked a friend, can I have a look in your closet? It's gonna be a one-time outfit, like it's not something I really want to purchase. And she said, yeah, no problem. So I went over and I picked something out of her closet that fits me, that looks nice, that is suitable for the event, and I didn't have to buy anything for that event. When I am buying clothes though, I love thrifting. I know it is kind of a cultural moment right now, but it's not as popular over here. So there's a few thrift stores here that I really love. One is Retold, there's a couple locations. One is Thrift for Good. There's a couple others here, but those are the ones that I like. I love buying secondhand items for work because I don't mind being rough on them. I'm spending less money on them than if I were buying them new. And then it is something that's reused and not automatically in the landfill. And the last thing that I have on my personal spending is also kind of related to food, but I didn't really know where to put it, is socializing at home. I love having friends over. It's not always a big party or anything like that, but maybe just a friend is coming over for dinner, and then the next week we'll switch. So I've done potlucks before where everyone brings in their own dish. It's a really low-cost way of making sure that you still get quality time with your friends and can have a really excellent meal that's going to cost significantly less, especially here in Dubai where eating out can get astronomical really quickly. The next category that I have down here is travel. So this is kind of my day-to-day travel, but also like big trips and vacation travel. So as far as my day-to-day travel, because I am working in hospitality, most of the time I am driving at off-peak hours. The traffic here can be crazy. What is normally a 25-minute drive with no traffic can easily be 45 minutes to an hour to or from work if I'm driving at peak times. So because I work at funny hours, I hit a lot less traffic, which means I lose a lot less time and I use a lot less gas. The next one I noticed when the weather started turning nicer, I started opening my windows and turning off the air conditioning, and then all of a sudden a tank of gas lasted me so much longer. So that's something that I'm going to be conscious of while the weather is still nice, is no air conditioning, windows only in the car. And then into the bigger side of travel, I love to travel. I love to take vacations, whether it's cold weather, warm weather, vacations, or beach vacations, cityscape. I love traveling. It's something that I value. It's an area that I like to spend my money, but it doesn't mean I want to spend my money unnecessarily. So if I can get something of the same quality for a cheaper price, I'm always going to do that. So I always am shopping around for flights. I will check really early. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll set some reminders. And then when I see that it's a good price, I'll purchase it then. Another thing I like to do for travel is keep my destination open. So because I have a lot of interests and I have a really long list of places that I want to go and visit, I am open to which destination I'm going to be going to. So a couple of years ago, we didn't have anything planned, but I was just having a look around at flights and I found really, really cheap flights to Greece from Dubai. We were able to fly, two of us, for like 700 dirhams, which is less than like $200. It was a budget airline. It was a super special sale, whatever, but I was at that point of, I've never been to Greece. Might as well, this price is so good, we'd be silly not to go. So we booked that trip and went to Greece on a very cheap flight. Also, if you're flexible with your dates or your times, that can also reduce your costs, not only for your flights, but for your hotel as well. So I will start to look at my options before I request time at work. So if I want to take a Monday to Monday instead of a Saturday to Saturday, or a Saturday to the next Sunday, a lot of times that will give you a better rate. And then when you're actually at your destination, we do a lot of free exploring. If that's a city, that's a lot easier. You can walk around, you can take low-cost public transport. But also we like to either rent a motorbike or rent a car and go around that way. You can see a lot, you can experience a lot, and then you can stop in and spend money on the places that you think are worth it. And then the last category that I have here is just kind of an other category. There are a few other things that I thought of that didn't fit in any of the other categories. One of them is low effort reward programs. So when I'm talking about that, I mean things that I'm going to be buying on repeat. So I order my cat food and cat litter at least once a month, sometimes twice a month. I know I'm going to be repeat purchasing that. So I'm part of the rewards program for the pet store that I purchase from. They give you a small amount of money back for every purchase, and then as it adds up, I will apply that to another purchase. There's another one that I use that is on groceries, which is Barakat, which is the same thing. You just get points for any purchases that you make that you can then redeem on your next purchases. I am not about the difficult, challenging ones. If it takes too much effort for me to set up, or if there's too many restrictions or anything like that, I'm not into it. I just like the low effort ones for repeat expenses. And then the last thing that I have on here, I think kind of encompasses a little bit of what I've already talked about, but I know what I value. I know what I want to spend my money on, and I have no guilt or shame or any negative feelings towards spending my money on those things. And then the things that I don't value that much, like my car or my clothing, I don't spend as much money on it. I try and, scrimp on areas that aren't important to me so that I can spend lavishly on areas that are important. And before, a couple of years ago, I would just spend my money in every category, not really considering what's important to me and what's not. And since I have been conscious about the things that are really important to me, I actually love the way that I spend my money. So those are some of the things that I do in my life to keep my expenses low. I'd love to hear what some of you guys do, whether that is specific to your particular situation, like some of the restaurant ones for me, or if that's something that you suggest to other people. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Leave a comment down below, and I appreciate you watching. See ya, bye. So those are